Chief Electoral Officer Fr Kharkungor informed that preparations are in full swing for Sohiong elections. Sohiong constituency will go to polls on the 10th of May 2023 and counting will be on the 13th of May. Speaking to Meghalaya Assembly channel, Kharkungor said that around 34,000 electorates will cast their votes in 63 polling stations. 5 CAPF companies and 200 polling officials will be deployed for smooth, free and fair elections. He also informed that counting will take place at the Arts and Culture Hall of the State Central Library Complex in Shillong.
In terms of the notification, it's already been made on the 13th of April, and the last date of nomination, as you know, is on the 20th. So this time around, only the candidate of the party where the candidate had deceased, only that party will be able to file the nomination, because all the other candidates, all the other parties have already filed their respective nomination. So only the party from which the candidate had deceased, that is the UDP, they'll be filing their nomination, and the whole election machinery is fully geared up for the conduct of the upcoming elections. So once the process of nomination and scrutiny is over, then of course polling, as we know, is on May 10th and counting is on the 13th. I had a review meeting with the district election officer, the returning officer, the SP and all the other officials last week, and the entire Sohiong constituency has been divided into 6 sectors and 2 zones, and the sector officers are now undertaking inspections of the polling stations, and by and large most of the polling stations are in a fit condition, and also side by side training is also going on in full swing. We will be having about 200 plus polling officials who will be deployed for the Sohiong elections, and total electorate is about 34,000 with more female voters than male voters, and we have 63 polling stations spread across the constituency. And this time around, the one difference is that counting center will be in the State Central Library in the Arts and Culture Hall, since it's more easier to manage logistically. Earlier on, East Khasiels, we had about 14 constituencies, so it required much bigger space. But this time, since it's only one constituency and 63 polling stations, so the counting center will be in Art and Culture Hall, which is located in the State Central Library complex. And 5 companies of CAPF have been given by the MHA, and of course they will undertake all the necessary security protocols, and also necessary security arrangements will be supervised by them, will be looked after by them. And so this in brief is are some of the major highlights with regard to the Sohiong elections. You see, that is an isolated incident. What happened, the case that you're referring to is an isolated incident, and in all the 3,419 polling stations, there was no other mishap except that one. So that was an unfortunate accident. But we've already briefed the district election machinery that all adequate steps should be taken to ensure that the safety and the security of the polling personnel should be maximum, should be the priority. And we also anticipate there should be no problem. Of course, in case there are rains, then we have also told that there should be contingency plans which should be there. And since this is only concerning one constituency, there's adequate infrastructure and adequate arrangements are there. So regarding that incident, of course, it's unfortunate, but it's not something which is it's an isolated incident, and all kinds of protocol will be maintained by the district election machinery to ensure that the polling passes off smoothly and safely.
So any special polling stations, like all women polling stations?
Yeah, there will be all women polling station, and there will be the this home voting also, like we had last time, for PWDs and for the senior citizens. There will be that option is still there for those who want to choose it. Like you saw last time, there were quite a few, quite a few of the senior citizens and of the people with disability, they had opted. So this time also that option is there for those who choose to exercise their option through that Form 12D. This time around, we will also be having an all-women, flying squad. I mean, all women, teams will be there also, because so that in case there are some violations by the other gender, then it will be in a much better position to tackle.
We also saw a lot of seizures, in the recently concluded election.
Yes, yes.
This process will continue, sir?
Yeah, it will continue. It will continue. We have 6 vulnerable polling stations, and 6 have been identified. Of course, it's a dynamic situation. It might reduce, it might increase closer to the polls, and all steps are being taken to ensure that there's a level playing field in the run-up to the elections. Of course, the polling hours will remain the same, 7 to 4 p.m. and counting, of course, is on the 13th of May, and counting will be taken up from 8 a.m. onwards. So that in brief is the are the major highlights of the Sohiong election preparations.